Thank you. Charlie, where you disappeared? Oh, there you are. Client lawyer privilege? Sure. Okay. April 1965. I was in Amarillo, Texas, courtesy of Air Force and the Pennsylvania Air National Guard, because a girlfriend's uncle saved me from the draft. But that's not my story. We were given a 3-day pass, finally, after 4 months. And I was 21. My buddies were not. So I was able to, they persuaded me to rent a yellow Mustang and let's go out on the town in Big Dime, Amarillo. The first stop after getting the car was to the liquor store. And each one of us were going to get a bottle. And who knows? And we then rented a hotel room, or motel room, on Route 66. And then we did a little drinking. We met a female lieutenant who was also there for the first time. And one of the fellas, Chicky, took a liking to her. The other fellow was Billy, both of them from Georgia, by the way. And we were doing our drinking. We hung out outside. We then met, as the evening went on, 4 other female airmen, airpersons. It was airmen back then, who had been drinking more than we had been drinking. And one of them was so drunk. Her head was on the table. And we were this was at the motel, and we're sitting outside. And I'm a bit of a Boy Scout. And I said, what you want to do is just go lie down, put some cold compresses on your head, and you will feel better. And she said, would you help me with that? Now, I am 21 and I was incredibly inexperienced. But I did. I went with her. I made her cold compresses, kept putting them on her head for about a half an hour. And she slowly was coming back. In the meantime, Billy had kind of made a move on one of the other young ladies, and he came into the hotel room. And things were slowly getting nasty. One gal was so appreciative of me taking care of her. But the problem was a lot of other men knew the gals were in the motel. And the phone kept ringing and ringing. And back in '65, you could not unplug a phone. It was hardwired to the wall, and short of cutting it, you weren't getting that thing off. The hotel operator said, we can't do anything about it. We can't stop the ringing. This went on, and it put a damper on everything. Because, I don't know if you remember what phones were. Some of you remember what phones were like back in '65. That was a loud tone, and there was nothing like it that could wake the dead. So finally, Billy just got disgusted. And he says, I want to go back to the barracks. Now, it's one thing for me to be off base with a car. But to drive on base as an airman who's basically still in training was a bit of a no-no. And he says, our unit is just inside the gate. You drop me off and go get out and you'll be done. So the 2 gals said, we're going with you. They grabbed their 2 friends who were downstairs still drinking. And there we are in the Mustang. We get to the base. I figured, they're even going to let me on. I flashed my ID. They let me on. I drive to our barracks, I drop him off. I figure, okay, we're turning around. No. They wanted to go drive by the beer hall. There, on the base, there was a beer hall where you could just get wasted and nobody cared. So we drove to the beer hall, drove right by it. I was doing very careful. And a car starts following me. And I know it's the MPs. And they say, the gals say, let's go to our dorm. And I drive there, and we, at that point, get stopped by the MPs. And I'm thinking, this is it. I'm 1 month from going home, and I'm not going home now. Because there is a bottle of whiskey for me in the car, in the back of the car, in the trunk. And we sitting there, and he comes up, he says, what do you got? I gave him my ID, and he checked they checking the gals, and I'm a Yankee in Texas. That didn't go well. And they said, open the trunk. We opened, and I'm thinking, I said, well, here's the keys. You open it. I didn't want to get out of the car. He opens up and he goes back there. He says, he comes back to me, and I'm thinking he's going to be holding a bottle. He didn't hold a bottle. He said, there's nothing there. He says, what's that bottle in the back there? And the gals pick it up. It is ginger ale. My buddies had stolen my bottle and kept it with them. At that point, I was thanking everybody in this world, because I knew I was getting off of that base alive, without any problems, and because my buddies were too greedy, I got saved from having probably spent some time in military police jail and explaining to my commanders back here why I was not coming home right away. So that's my story.